Hi guys, I hope you're having a great day and welcome to our class number 4. Today we are going to take a new unit that is called Getting Around. This is unit 9. First, we are going to check some important dates. So next week, we are going to have a live class because you have your progress test number 2 on Friday the 23rd. And we are going to have our first quiz on this date, okay? So you can check this presentation later on. I have our first question for this class. How do people get to work? How do people get to work? So here we have our warm-up activity. You have to click here in this link. And here we have our first activity. I'm going to show you how to do it. So you have to write your name. Here we have a sentence. It is faster than a car and it is easier to park. What is this? I rides a motorbike, she ride a motorbike, or I ride a motorbike. So I say that this is the correct option. I ride a motorbike. It is faster. Okay, it is faster than a car and it's easier to park. So this is our warm-up activity. Check the vocabulary, okay? So as in this unit, we are going to be, at the end of this unit, you will be able to talk about the types of transport, get information about a place, compare places or the types of transport, and to buy a ticket. First, here we have some types of transport, that I think that we are all familiar with this. We have train, the airplane, motorbike, the bus, and so on. And here we have our first activity. Let's imagine that you are lost in a city that you don't know. You go to the tourist information office. So now we are going to, we have to complete the following questions using the words in the box here. So the first question is it far? Is it far? Once you finish these sentences, we have to complete a conversation with the questions from the last exercise. This one, okay? So we have here a conversation between Carla and the assistant. So Carla says, excuse me, is there a post office near here? Yes, it is in the square, opposite the bank. Oh, thanks. And we have to choose one of these questions. Now we are going to move on to the description of things. So how do we describe things? The first way we have to describe things is using the adjectives. For example, motorbikes are quite expensive, or Chile is a beautiful country. But what happens if I want to compare two things? How can I compare the two things? Here we have some examples. Riding a motorbike is faster than driving a car. Faster than. Or this exercise is more difficult than the first one. More difficult than. So here we have this pattern. More difficult, or the ER, faster than. We always have the this word than, more than. So that is how we compare things. And we can also say that one thing has more of a quality than others in a group. For example, my hometown is the most beautiful place in the world. Or this is the best way to travel in my country. This is different from the last examples. So we are comparing here two things, but here we are talking about one thing. And the pattern here is the plus most or est, depending on the word. For example, the most beautiful, the best. Most beautiful, the best. We always have this word, the. Here we don't have than. Than is only to compare two things. And when we want to talk about one thing in particular, we use the. Here we have the rules, how to make comparative and superlatives. So for example, if the word has one syllable, fast, for example, fast, young, we add the ER, faster, younger. But if we have two syllables ending in Y, for example, happy, crazy, we have to delete the Y and replace it. We have to add the IER, happier, crazier. Okay? You can check the rules here. And we have here an exercise. Let's check the following exercise. Complete the sentences with the correct form of the adjectives in brackets. So the first example says, what's way to travel in the country? In this sentence, we are not comparing two things. Okay, so in that case, we are going to use this pattern, the. And here we have the word, the adjective, good. But here we have an exception. Good changes to better or the best. So in this case, we are not comparing, so we use the best. And then we have the metro is than comparative, two things. Riding a motorbike is than. What are we doing here? Like comparing or talking about only one thing? So you have to complete that sentences. And finally, we have an activity here to practice what you learned in this class, in this short video. You have to click here. This is a Jamboard activity. So we have our first question that says, how do you go to work or to university? You can find that vocabulary on the exercise Number 1, in the warm-up activity. My example, this is my example. When I go to university, I usually get the bus or the train. When I'm really busy, I get the train. And please write your name at the end of the sentence, so I know that you are working. Then we have, how often do you do these things? For example, get the bus, cycle, get a taxi, get the underground, get the train, drive. You have to choose one of these and write one sentence. For instance, I chose get the underground. So this is my sentence. I never get the underground because I live in Arica and we don't have that type of transport. That is my sentence. And also write your name at the end of the sentence. Finally, we have the last activity. Think of 2 towns or cities you know well and write 5 comparative sentences about them. You can use some of the following adjectives: beautiful, busy, clean, expensive, interesting, cheap, dangerous. If you want to use an adjective that is not here, do it. I don't have any problem with that. So here it says comparative sentences. Comparative, 2 things. So here we have comparative, more or er than, keyword than. And I have here my example. So you have to add a new page here. Write your name, please. And I chose a photo of Arica and Punta Arenas. And I wrote, for me, Arica is cheaper than Punta Arenas. And also, Punta Arenas is colder than Arica because the minimum temperature in Arica during the winter is 12 degrees Celsius. So you have to write 5 comparative sentences. Remember that you have to add a page. And here you can write a note, add photos from Google. Besides, if you want to practice a little bit more, you can check the software. Okay, you need 9, getting around. We have using transport 1, 2, and 3, getting information from 1 to 6, also buying a ticket, and comparatives and superlatives 1 and 2. So that's it for today, guys. In case you have any questions, comments, please contact me, send me an email. Okay, I don't have any problem with that. And I hope you have a great weekend. Take care and see you next week. Bye.